up to Joy Callender to discuss the relation between food and sex. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Eat your way to healthy sex.
Sounds good to me.
Hold on now. Is this an opinion or is this a fact you're here to how you know?
Like how you know.
Data suggests that eat well,
yeah.
you will have a healthy heart. A good diet for your heart is a good diet for sex. Good circulation, good blood vessels. Yes, both men and women.
Yeah. Dr. Karen is going like this.
Yes,
it's all about circulation.
Just remember, guys, that it's a morning show. Just remember that. All right. Let's start with the first one that you guys have told us about. Dark chocolate.
Yeah, well, the chocolate is supposed to release the serotonin. Chocolate is our feel-good food.
Right.
If you think about why people eat certain foods when they're not having sex, it's to get the same feeling as if they were having sex. And so that serotonin release is a nice feel-good drug. The darker the chocolate, the richer it is for you, but it's actually the more bitter chocolate. And that's going to give you the better release of serotonin. The sweeter the chocolate, the less likely your serotonin is going to be released.
The chocolate mash up my sinus, isn't it?
I don't eat chocolate at all.
Well, you guys are missing out.
You don't like that chocolate.
No, I prefer milk chocolate. But that's good, I prefer chocolate. Alright, so chocolate for that reason.
Yes.
Because when I was looking at the material, I was thinking if you did something with the chocolate.
Certainly, you can do a number of things with the chocolate, and people do. And you can buy products in the store where the chocolate has already been processed.
As I said, it is a morning program. I have no idea what you...
What you do with the chocolate.
You don't.
We just want to and the nutrition is always with a word of caution in limited amount.
Yes.
Because you have to look at the calories, which is the advantage of the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
There's not as much added fat and sugar.
Yeah.
Because you remember I talked about the circulation, you want good blood vessels, so we don't want the saturated fat, we don't want the arteries blocked. So in moderation.
So dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. And of course there are things like, you know, you can use cocoa. I mean, that's dark chocolate, you know, it doesn't have to be.
Gelatin.
Well, I can think of so many things you can do with gelatin. but obviously gelatin would replace some of the nutrients that you're losing during exertion, and it's great for keeping your bones.
Such rubbish. Absolute rubbish. So, just before...
Oh no, I'm not suggesting that at all. No.
Some bowl of jello.
No, well, you could do that if it stimulated you, because food is going to be good for you for sex for a number of reasons. One is a nutritional point of view, and the other is excitation. Some foods, what we call root fruits, for instance, like mangoes and raspberries, are wet. They're root fruits. They're wet, they're juicy, they're sweet, they're dark. They also incite sexual interest.
Just once. Mango.
You said it never goes in trouble.
On the cameraman station.
Alright, so wet. Oh no, we were on gelatin.
I think one of the things with gelatin too is the whole business of joints. You know, you really need to have good joint health.
Alright, so we're not talking about just, as I said,
no, just
consume
of gelatin.
before. You're talking about as part of your regular diet.
And there are other supplements, things like glucosamine and chondroitin that help to keep your cartilage in good. Yes, chondroitin is okay. Something that your body naturally produces, but you can take it in the form of a supplement.
Red wine. This one don't need no explanation.
That doesn't need an explanation.
It's the mood.
I don't drink wine.
A little red wine. Because we advise that
you don't want to go over there.
No, we
I'm in trouble. No, man, I'm in trouble because I'm not into the dark chocolate. I'm not into the red wine.
On the business of wine, though, it can set the mood, but it can impair performance.
Precisely.
So I always add that.
The guys.
Well, the guys more so.
Why? Just put it to sleep if you have too much of it.
Yes, you want to disinhibit. You want a glass of wine to disinhibit, but you don't want more than 2 glasses.
So like...
No, I don't.
The next one, oysters. I know what you guys
I eat oysters.
And again, source of zinc.
Oysters are seen as an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
No, I'm not so sure why.
Well, I think foods that, again, rude foods.
Right.
Foods that are slippery, wet.
No, you stop that.
You are making this up as you go along.
No, I really am not. There is a whole visual appeal as well, you know, and there's a sensory appeal.
We have visual appeal.
Well,
but there are many persons who like it.
The smell of an oyster with the sauce is quite a pleasant smell.
Yeah.
The feel of an oyster going on is quite a pleasant feel as well. And the thought of what it replaces.
I have to ask related to
yes,
that,
but not morning question.
But isn't it more the case that usually when you're having oysters, you may be having oysters,
and along with something else,
whatever, and that itself leads to things. This one,
yeah, this is me. Oatmeal.
Right.
I have oatmeal cookie, I have oatmeal everything. I love
oatmeal. Is a good source of something we call beta glucans. Good for your cholesterol.
Do I need beta glucans when I'm about to get it on?
No, and none of these, the things we're talking about now, these are not things you're going to have before sex.
Right.
These are things that are going to be part of a general healthy lifestyle.
Alright, we're running out of time. We have to move fast. Water. Why water though? Why water?
Lubrication, circulation.
Keeping the skin
I know
supple.
water is good for you.
Yeah, but that's the general notion.
Because I'm all about healthy lifestyle.
But the other thing is that a lot of the foods that aren't listed are foods that contain smells that we find arousing. For instance, vanilla. There are a number of colognes that are made of vanilla extract. So smell is very important to whether or not the food is interesting for us.
Bananas, now we could go on forever about
the benefits of bananas.
B vitamins, I would think. One of the things with good sex is you have to have a good source of energy.
Yes.
You have to be really up to it. The B vitamins, things like ginseng, there are a number of supplements which enhance energy and therefore stamina. So from my perspective,
I'm a ginseng man. I drink.
But usually, like people who take that are worried about their performance or their ability to last any length of time. That's why they take a lot of that. You take a lot of ginseng.
never you were set up for that.
When you talk about the visual, the banana must be interesting fruit.
Yeah, but it also has a very strong smell. So for some people, banana actually has too strong a smell. It's not sufficiently subtle, but you have things like cucumbers that are reported to be very attractive for women. The smell of a cucumber, the smell of vanilla,
Again, it has nothing to do with
it smells.
It's not on our list, but what about the Jamaican, like the steamed fish and
crackers?
All that of good health. All seafood, good source of zinc, important for your testosterone levels.
Yes.
Very important.
Really?
Salmon.
Yes. Good source of the omega-3 fatty acids. Good sex begins in the brain. And your omega-3 fatty acids.
So much you ruled it out from good sex on about 19 pounds.
And then don't forget the Jamaican herbs, the salsa perla, the chili roots, the goat meat, medina. These are some of the
Are those real though? And the benefits of those real? In terms of sexual performance?
They are said to be.
It's said to be, but
if people believe it, then they probably will actually.
Again, it's the brain and the mind. We don't have a lot of data to support.
Yes, we're not sure what quantity
but if you
of
believe it,
will help you.
That's my card. You're just having a ball. Great to see you guys.
Thank you for having
us. You're always welcome.
A pleasure as always.
I'm on top to see you on Smart Jamaica.
In fact, they are our resident nutritionists and sexologists.
Sexologist, Dr. Karen. The nutritionist, Dr. Joy Callender. Alright, you left.
Alright, when you mention Calypso, Soca, or Carnival in Jamaica, who comes to mind? Well, check out today's Land of Legends. It features, of course, the great Byron Lee and the Dragon Race.